Welcome to Property Developers Playbook. I'm Kieran Shepherd.
I'm Jonathan Stubbs.
And this is the podcast where we talk about business of property development, whether you're just getting started or you are scaling to bigger projects.
If you're new to the podcast, welcome. If you're coming back again, welcome back. Great to have you here. So whether you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube channel, remember to like, subscribe, click the button, and stay tuned for future episodes.
Yeah.
Today's episode is all about the art of negotiation.
The art of negotiation.
Yeah, not the art of the deal. This isn't a Donald Trump thing.
No.
It's art of negotiation.
The art of negotiation.
In today's episode, we're breaking down the art of negotiation from the due diligence you must do before making an offer to the exact way developers structure and present the offers to vendors and agents.
Yeah, because we've seen developers pay hundreds of thousands over what they should have been paying. But not only cost them at the front end, but cost them even more on the back end on their ROI. So, yeah, basically just running through the checklist of things to note.
And this will all help if you're making offers to other investors, landowners, agents, anyone across in the property industry, even down to your subcontractors and your commercial professional team as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people think they know how to do it.
Yeah.
Not saying we're experts, but there's a right way of doing it, right? There's a wrong and a right way of doing this.
This is our way of doing it.
This is our way of doing it.
Yeah.
We find it successful and it works. Yeah.
But before we get into that, we've got our big segment of the week, which is the big question. And
the big question.
Refer back to our faith to give us the big question.
Our faith.
The faithful faith.
Yeah, our faith. What's the big question? Yep, faith.
What percentage of UK homes typically sell for less than the original asking price?
So what percentage of UK homes typically sell for less than the UK asking price? So
you go first, John.
Yeah, I don't know if many people negotiate. I think they might put in lower offers. I don't know if they have a reason for it. My original thought was 50%, but I'm probably going to go a little bit lower than, because I don't think many people negotiate. I'm going 20%.
Oh, you're going lower than 50?
I'm going low, yeah.
Oh, I'm going the other way.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think it's more. Did you negotiate when you bought a house?
I always negotiate.
I always negotiate.
Yeah.
So that's 100% right there.
Yeah, but we in the property industry, this is what we do day in, day out.
Yeah, I know, but I think it's sort of a, certainly, I know you're not, British of origin, but I think it's culturally we negotiate here as well. So I'm going to say 80%.
Wow.
Yeah.
The answer is 50%.
50%? I was going to be right.
So that's down the middle, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is 30-30. Yeah, okay,
50%?
So 50%. That's not bad. Well, good. At least people negotiate a lot. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah. But they should be doing it more.
Yes. And negotiating is everything, I think. You should negotiate on anything, especially in the property industry. When you're getting your professional fee quotes, go back and negotiate. We've done it before, especially with architects as an example. They love pricing based on a build rate, whereas we want based on time spent.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. Yeah. I don't know where they pull their figures from. But.
Yeah, they don't, day rates to fixed prices, everything should be negotiated.
Do you think people negotiate rent? I've never really rented, so do people negotiate rents?
So you can put in lower offers than what the rent price is, but then whether it comes down to the landlord actually accepting that or taking someone who's not paying the figure. Yeah.
I think I would, though. If I was renting something, I'd definitely try and, because even if you can't negotiate on price, you can negotiate maybe on terms. There's got to be something there, isn't there? There's always something. There's always something more to get from the deal that benefits you.
Do you negotiate when you go shopping? No. For clothes and things?
Clothes? Well, no, because it's a supermarket. You can't, can you? You're a bit,
No, there's been occasions I've asked for.
And if it's food shopping, I'll eat it while I'm going around and go, oh, I lost the wrapper.
No, he doesn't.
This 30p chewing gum. Yeah, that's what I'm eating. No, don't do that, by the way.
So when I've bought at not supermarkets, but clothes shopping, every now and then, if I'd say like any kind of manager's discount or anything like that.
Yeah, actually saying that, because sometimes it's more, you see it more now, but there's always like a member's card or something, or I'll give you your email and give you 10%.
Yeah,
usually you have to get on the second.
I always do that. Matalan, I know we're kind of going off piece here. If you do shop at Matalan, they always give you a discount voucher after you shopped, so that you come back.
Oh, do they? Yeah, they might do that, don't they?
Yeah, buy, return, then buy the same thing with your voucher and get whatever 20% off.
So you buy the little thing and then walk around the queue and then go again. Yeah. So anyway, it's getting a deal, isn't it? It's making sure you're not overpaying, but actually, it's making sure you're underpaying. You know, because it's
you want to buy on the value at the very beginning. So
and also don't worry about that sort of that whole stigma of being tight or you know that's a good thing. You know. It's what you spend, not what you earn. I like that little saying.
Yeah, it is. Development. It all comes down to the margins. You know, we're trying to make it's a profitable business. If you make it that way, you want to be making a profit through every stage, whether that's from at the beginning where you're buying it to when you building it to when you're selling it. You want to be negotiating as much as possible and just getting those margins in.
Always about the margins.
Yeah. So everything is negotiable.
Everything is negotiable.
So we've got a list here. We'll just go touch on a couple of them. So there's the purchase price, and we'll go into more detail on how you can add leverage on your side to negotiate that purchase price down. Completion timelines, again, being as developers, you've got to make sure that the deal works for you.
Yeah.
You're not trying to appease the vendor. As much as a vendor wants, a quick transaction, it comes down to you as a developer, what works for you and what makes you money.
Yeah. Also, the conditions, conditionality of the deal is really important as well, because that can affect sort of both things. Timing and money is affected by the conditions in place. So.
Yeah, there's a number of things. So whichever way you're looking from the financing point of view, if you're taking this out through planning, there's planning uplift. Like I said before, professional fees, and then obviously we've raised money from investors. Investors obviously going to come and that's another negotiating, like what rates are you going to pay? Again, it's a rate that works for your development. Obviously you need to try and appease if you're looking for investors to invest in your deal.
Yeah. And build contractors, again, that's another one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But don't be that person that tries to, I don't know, just always look for the deal, but don't try and push. You know what I've heard recently a bit more is the old cash thing coming up for quite large sums. People offering.
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was done and dusted, but
interesting.
Yeah, not to us, but I just heard people being offered it.
Yeah. I think you've obviously, being a main contractor, one of your biggest things is negotiated tenders. Rather than going out to tender to a multiple of contractors, doing a negotiated tender, which it kind of says in the title.
Yeah,
you're negotiating something that works for both parties.
Well, exactly, and I think it works for both parties. It's an open book sort of strategy that works for everyone. Yeah, because it's hard. You've got to shake off that sort of reputation that the building industry has of ripping people off, and I think if you're just open book, and you can do it almost on a cost plus, or you can do it that you're trying to work. You do price it and fix prices in on the sort of main works, but a lot of the works we do, there is a lot of PC sums. Even in developing, you can have it all drawn up and all specced out, scopes there, but then even when you're selling a product, somebody might want to change the kitchen or something like that. So there's a negotiation you've got to have with the contractor of what would they charge to put that change order in and things like that. So I think it's always good to have something negotiable rather than very much fixed, because I think the contractor is always going to de-risk it for themselves, aren't they? So whereas if they know there's a real open, honest conversation, it's going to work. So
I mean, ultimately the whole negotiation side is sales, isn't it? Everything is sales, and I know people don't like sales, don't like being sold to unless they're in the market for something. But we are selling all the time. Whether we're trying to find a partner, we're selling ourselves, or if we're trying to find work, we're selling what we can do. So no matter what you're doing, it's sales. You just need to get used to being able to sell and presenting yourself a way that makes you investable and people want to work with you. Yeah,
definitely. And I think also when you are negotiating, you've got to have something to offer. That's the other side of it. You can't be a pain in the arse. If you're asking for things, if you want the price dropped or time pushed or something like that, something's going to be asked of you, maybe a little bit beyond just normal sort of buyer of the product. You've got to be offering a little bit more. So you've got to think about both sides. It can't just be about everything you want. It's got to be, so when we're talking about negotiate tenders, we talk about like what benefit is that to the client?
Yeah.
How they're going to save time, they're going to save money. The scope is going to be very precise because it's going to be actually by builders, and we believe the builders will put the best scope of works and bill of quantities together and actually price exact rather than a QS that doesn't know what the live prices are. So you've got to sell that. What can I do? What am I offering for these things I'm asking for? Negotiations.
So in negotiating, there are some common mistakes that people make. Some of that is revealing your hand too quickly, or talking too much. I think sometimes that's a big thing. People don't know when to keep quiet and let the other person.
7-second pause.
Yeah,
lot to be said for that. Just take a step back and
some people can't handle silence.
And that although we sort of reference that 7-second pause on a conversational negotiation there, that if it's over email and it's a larger thing, that could be 7 days or 7 weeks, just to say. But it's about not being too eager, too keen, showing your hand. You've got to. You don't want to be the other way as well. There's nothing worse than someone's like, "Oh, I don't care either way." You're like, "Well, if you don't care, why are we talking?" So don't be that idiot. Don't be the guy. Don't be the person that's like, "Oh yeah, I couldn't give a shit." Well, you do give a shit because you wouldn't be negotiating. So it's finding that sweet spot, isn't it?
Yeah. Do your due diligence, because that's like we'll get onto this a little bit later in the episode. But that's one of the key parts of negotiating when you're putting an offer on a property development site or any kind of property, is actually understanding what are the constraints or the risks for the property and how you can mitigate those. That's all ammunition for your side of the offer, effectively. Yeah,
it's imperative. You've got to be doing it, and don't rush through it because you're excited about the deal and the potential. You've got to get it right, because it'll only bite you in the arse later, won't it? If it's wrong.
And then one of the things that Kieran likes to do, I say quite often, is if things are going in a certain direction, it is a business, be happy to walk away from the deal.
You've got to be.
It's a business decision. It's not, don't bring the emotion into it. Just say, right, if it's not working for us, we just need to step away. And there's loads of other opportunities out there. You just need to go find them. And then if you've got a pipeline of deals, we've spoken about this on previous podcasts. If you have a pipeline, if you don't get this one, it's okay. You just move on to the next one.
And that can be hard, especially when you're starting out, because it can take some time to get that first deal over the line, and you're sort of hungry to do it. You yourself are educated and ready to go, raring to get started, and you can make all these mistakes, and you can almost get the negotiations can progress almost to the point of a contractual agreement. And I think people know in their gut that it's not quite right, so they'll just do it. And I think if you have a gut feeling, I always find, like, I speak to you, we will talk to each other, even if it's something outside of PDIQ, or we'll talk to each other and just and it's ultimately, if it doesn't feel right, it's not right. You've got to trust your gut and or ask for some more time. Negotiate the negotiation. Just say, listen, I need some more time to think on this. Just a couple of days, give me some breathing space, and we'll come back to you. Good communication. That's again, that is key for
very much so
for negotiations.
So let's say you found a site and you really, you've walked the site, or you're looking at the sales materials, or you talking to the vendor, etc. One of the first things you need to do, and we've covered this on a previous podcast episodes 47 and 48, which is all about how to evaluate a site before you buy. So we broke that down into 8 steps for site assessment, and this is where you're just really looking at the different constraints on the site, the risks that are there, or the potential risks, and how you would mitigate those or work out the costs for those, because all of that comes down to how you put the offer forward. What ultimately it's doing the deal appraisal, and the headline detail is GDV, profit, build costs, comes to residual land value. So you need to identify all those elements first to get to the residual land value or your offer price. So we're not going to go into too much detail on these. We did this, like say, on episodes 47, 48. Go back and listen on the podcast. But from a planning point of view, the existing use, the planning history, look at the local plan. Is it a conservation area? Is a list of buildings? There's all these different constraints from a planning point of view that you need to take into account. So if it's got planning, review the planning documents, go through all the reports and see, is there issues from an ecology point of view. Certain bats, I think there's
covenants right away. We did a podcast about that, didn't we? So anything like that anything that affects the site, anything that might throw a spanner in the works.
Especially timing wise, we've just mentioned bats, and you've had bats on your projects that you've been working on recently. If you need to do a bat emergence survey, you've only got a window of opportunity between May and November, I think it is. November. So if you need to get another updated survey done, that's your window of opportunity, because after that you're in hibernation period and you probably need more licenses and everything else. So that fixes a certain time frame. You going through all these documents also highlights to the owners that you've done your homework. You've kind of gone through it and got a lot more clarity on the site. Site constraints, this is something we do a lot when we walk around the site. And this can be physical as well as looking on different search systems, like Searchland and different things like that. So I like quite the physical side of walking a site and actually going around, walking the roads that connect it, even driving to it, what's the main access points and different things like that. So are there local rivers? A lot of these we see on like OS plans and different things, but if you walk the site, walk the area, understand it. And sometimes the site can look great, but can just be in a shitter area, and you're just it doesn't quite fit for the planning it's got, or we're thinking, you can lift an area. We've done it. It does work, but there's a risk element to that as well. So you've got to play it right, and you got to mark it right. So So the market's kind of your exit strategy. What you as developers are looking to deliver. We follow 3 Ps, which is people, places, and profit. So as long as we kind of ticking all those boxes, it's a site that we'd be looking at.
And that order is important because of that. So people and places. So the people in the area will make the area. So if you can attract certain people that are like working people that are going to bring something to the area, and you can create a place from that, then that's how then you will gain the profit. So it's about creating, bringing people in, so creating homes for people that create place and then create profit.
So some of the things to look at when you're walking the site, like Kieran was saying, you got the flood risk, you got ecology, ground conditions, topography. Are you on a bank? Do you need to have any kind of retaining walls? All of these things might not necessarily be shown in the sales material, but it's through looking at everything that you identify these problems.
And the thing is like this, you can get a man in a machine, a little digger, to go to a site for a few £100, and you might think, that's a risk, but get a hole dug, get some inspection pits dug, so you know what's going on, because you'll answer so many things. And even if that might be quite early doors, but if you're unsure, if there are things in the area that are flagged, and you're like, I'm not quite sure about that, just go through that. Just get someone in for a day. It's going to help you out in the long run and save you a lot of time and hassle. So there's just one of many things you can do. Again, look at your network, create that network, because you might, at some sort of networking event, you might meet a arborist or someone, that might be able to just pop out and have a look at the trees for you. You haven't then got to consult or pay someone for it. Same with college, you can meet people and they might just go, when I'm swinging by on the way back from work, I'll just pop in, have a little look and give you a verbal. It's nothing written, it's not a report, it's nothing that will stand for anything, but it gives you more information. That's doing your due diligence. So key thing, isn't it, with the network?
Because at the moment this is all just information gathering. You're just gathering loads of info to support what you're going to be offering on it. Definitely go through the planning documents if there is planning on the site. So Section 106, CIL, if there isn't, and you've got a piece of land that you're looking to get planning on, speak to a planning consultant, ask them what kind of Section 106 or CIL would be required in the area.
So for those that have sort of jumped into this podcast and haven't looked at previous, just what is CIL and what is Section 106?
So CIL is Community Infrastructure Levy. Not all councils have adopted it, but ultimately it's another way of developers giving the council funds to improve the infrastructure in the local area. Section 106 could be anything from affordable housing to open space, education contributions, NHS contributions. Again, it's a contribution to the council to improve the area for services, etc. that are given. Basically,
it's another cost with a name that you should be proud of what you're doing. So, again, listen back to, I can't remember what podcast that was, but we did a whole podcast about this, but these are costs that you will need to pay, and in some cases up front. So you need you need to be aware of these. CIL and Section 106, they're two main costs in development, and they really will change the whole deal. You need to know those from day one.
Yeah, I think the main thing through this process is you're not negotiating against the seller. All you're doing is negotiating against the risk, highlighting what the risks are for the site, and presenting that, saying, well, I understand what the issues are here. I've taken all that into account. This is what I'm offering for the site because of all the conditions that there are. Yeah. And any logical vendor would see that you've done some due diligence. They are aware of their own restrictions on the site.
Yep.
You are going to get other people putting in offers without having done the same kind of due diligence with the higher figures potentially.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we see a lot of people, the vendors going with the higher buyers, higher values.
Yeah.
But then they generally come back because ultimately they then find out that they haven't taken that into account.
Yeah.
And the deal falls through, and then they come back to you. So.
Yeah. I think that's a really good point, because I like that. You're not really negotiating with the vendor. You're negotiating the deal.
Yeah.
And does the deal stack? And all you're doing then is presenting that.
Yeah.
And then you got to understand also the seller, that mindset. So what we're saying is you need to go through a process. You need to spend the time and energy doing this. This is a very much a time well spent exercise. The seller's not going to be doing that. The seller's working on the basis that they've, I don't know, spoken to a couple of agents who are going to tell them what they want to hear, let's be honest, and maybe some comparables. They've seen Mate Boy do it with a bit of land down the road and he sold it for this. I heard it down the pub. So that's all the information they're going on. You've got to look at it. They haven't done all this on the other side. So just take that as a ballpark figure. Really, in many ways, don't even look at the value of the land. It's sort of irrelevant of what value they put on it or what it's up for sale for. You've got to look at it, what value it is to you. That's what you're presenting. Yeah. So you're negotiating the deal. Yeah. Don't worry about what they're asking. And it's about presentation, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it's
because ultimately, like I said at the beginning of this podcast, this has to work for you as a developer.
Yeah.
There's no point trying to appease anyone else in the process if you're taking on all the risk of building it out and trying to make a profit from it. So it has to work for you from day one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there'll be things that come up that might skew the water or muddy the water, and you've got to take that into account, especially in the build process. So, it's got to work for you day one.
Yep.
So, how to present an offer? Previous podcast episodes, we've said about how we present this across.
Yeah.
Some people just send an email to the agent. We think that's the wrong way of doing it.
Yeah.
You need to put a professional pack together to show that you are better than the one-man bands, people who are not taking this as a professional business in property development. You want to create a business in the systems. Yeah.
And a good way to start, you might start this on your first, but by starting your first development, you'll be putting together essentially a template for this, and we actually help with those templates as well on our course. So it does speed things up because you can have it templated and then you're just putting in the information, so it's a bit quicker. But what it shows is that you care. You've taken the time. You are educated in this area. You know what you're talking about, and that by presenting it in a certain way, it just comes across really well.
Yeah.
And I think sending an email is much better than just a phone call. But we're not talking about a residential deal here. This isn't about ringing up. I'd like to put an offer in on that house. It's not that. This is you're doing where in that situation as a residential property, you'll be relying on surveyors. I get asked a lot to go and have a builder's survey on properties, friends, family, and a couple of on the commercial side I'll do it because they want a builder's view on the property, which I think is always good. But this is about you're putting in the legwork. You're actually spending time and money to get it to a level where you're going to present it. So if you're going to spend that energy and time and cost doing that, make the effort in presenting this really well, really professionally. And and it doesn't just have to be something like a PDF of a few pages. It could even be that can we have a meeting? Can we talk this through? Could we put it on a screen and present it to you? These aren't silly things. These are good things. It means you're taking it serious, and the seller can see that. All parties can see that.
And this will build relationships with the agents as well, because they can see that if this is how you present yourself on this one, if they give you another deal to have a look at, they can know what to expect.
Yeah.
So
And
it
I
all
think
helps.
the agent and the seller, they'll have confidence in that. But
Yeah.
the rest of that deal, because you'll have a handshake, brilliant, and then you've got to go through the process of the sale. They're thinking, I just want to go through this process successfully without any hurdles. And if they can see that somebody is, really well thought out the whole thing and done their due diligence, that the rest of the process is going to be a little bit smoother than if it's just someone going, yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
It just gives a bit more confidence, doesn't it?
Yeah. So price isn't everything. Sometimes it's not just about the monetary value.
Price is everything now. It's right.
Yeah, but from a vendor's point of view, although they're trying to maximise the purchase price or the sales price that they can get, they want to know that the person making the offer can deliver across the line, get all the funding, etc. So we've got certainty, speed, simplicity, and the flexibility. Like can you move things and how quickly can you get things done? Because that's ultimately, they want a confirmed sale. It's great, selling a plot of land for £1 million type thing, but if you can't actually deliver on that, well, it's not worth that.
No.
So it's always going to come down to what someone's willing to offer on the land and actually deliver on it. So
yeah, well, ultimately that's the thing here, isn't it? The properties and land and things we're looking at, they're only worth what somebody's willing to pay, or can afford to pay.
Yeah.
And again, it all comes back down to that we do our own valuations on the site, but it will come down to who's financing it, i.e. the bank, who has to value it. So you need to be doing this correctly and not just going, I think that's a great deal, or so and so bought it for similar money and I'll do the same thing. It doesn't always work like that. So
it'll be found out through the valuation
and
if you haven't done it properly.
And you'll find out you've just wasted time, your own time.
Yeah, and also your credibility with the agent.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing.
Yeah, and brokers and lenders as well.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess them around. Because they're quite fickle as well. Yeah.
So we spoke on previous podcasts about types of structures. So you could just look at a straight purchase, cash purchase. This is always just the most simplest for the vendor. But again, it might not be the simplest and what's ideal for you as a developer. If it's if there's planning that you're going to get on site, there's conditional offers. You could do an option agreement. There's promotion agreements where you actually help them get the planning and then promote it onto another developer as well.
Yep.
So there's a range of different structures depending on whatever the development opportunity is that you'd be able to present in your offer.
Yeah.
And that just shows them the format and how it would be, and you can put a timeline in it as well. So it gives them a full breakdown of what they can expect from you.
Yep.
So what makes a strong offer? I think this again comes back down to your credibility as a buyer, how you're presenting yourself.
Yeah.
Are there certain conditions, the timescales you're going to put into it? Do you proof of funds? I know some people ask for proof of funds. We don't normally show proof of funds because our proof of funds is we're going to be raising the finance and that'll be subject to evaluation, which is always one of the conditions.
Yeah, you usually do it later on. I don't think I've ever been asked to prove funds at that stage. But if you've got the funds, it might help, or even to say if you've got the funds there or an investor there, you could even put that into your document that you're sending out to say it's, cash funds are ready, because people like to hear that. But don't say that if it's not. Yeah. Don't overpromise anything. That's a really key thing.
Don't wing it.
You're better off, even if it's a maybe or it's a strong 90% surety. Just don't even put it in, just in case, because that can kill the deal. If somebody does then call you on it and say, "Oh, could we get proof of funds of that?" Because that will make the difference, and we will seal the deal. And you go, "Can we do it?" And they go, your investor says, "Oh no, well not yet."
Yeah,
you can kill the deal. So you've got to be careful with that. But also, like anything in the art of sales and negotiation, one of the key things we always say is, where would you be happy to go? Quite early on, you can say, you might have something up for, they might be selling it for say 500,000. Well, is that the agent that's told them that, or where are they happy to be? Where you can ask this, and we try and get in front of the vendor, don't we?
Yeah. More
so than just going through the agent and build that relationship up with the agent. They can trust you to do that rather than, try and do a sneaky deal and cause everyone problems. But to just be open and just say, what will work for you? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a quick deal? Are you looking for the money's spot on what you've asked for, or what's the most important thing for the seller, isn't it?
This all then can help you when you're talking to the vendors, identify what the biggest points are, and how you can then make your offer tailored towards their points that they've asked for.
Yeah.
Now, it might not just be the price, like we said before. It could just be the certainty of sale. They might have been messed around before. I think I had on a previous project where a buyer had offered a landowner a fixed price for a plot of land. They were going to take it through planning, and then while they're going through the process, they started negotiating that price down, and the vendor was just like, I've had enough. That took months. I can't remember if it was a year or not, but it was time wasted. And so when we came and put our offer forward, it was a very different offer, taking into account their pain points that they had, and that kind of sealed the deal, that it wasn't just we weren't going to mess them around, and we gave them a timeline of how things were going to move forward. So that definitely helped. So find out what their issues are, find out how you can solve those problems. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then, it's ultimately tailoring your offer pack to tick all those boxes. Yeah.
Effectively, that's it, isn't it?
As much as possible, anyway. Like I said before, don't negotiate against yourself. This is one of the mistakes.
Yeah.
Is, once you put your offer in, let them sit on it until they come back to you. Don't. If you want, you can follow up a week later or something like that. Just make sure that they've actually received the offer.
Yeah.
But don't hound them. Move on to the next deal. They'll come back to you. I mean, we offered on a site a year ago. They wanted 400,000. We offered less than that, and it hasn't sold. So we know that no one else has come at their 400,000. And I've just followed up every month, just seeing what's happening, what's the latest. They've even spoken about looking to resubmit planning, to change planning thing, and I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah, we wouldn't be interested in that. But it's good that they consulted on that, didn't they? They came back and said, would
this be of interest?
Would this be of interest at a higher figure if we did this? And we were like, definitely not. We like what you've got, but not the figure you're asking. So this is negotiation. That's a perfect example, because it's not always quick. It's both sides trying to make this deal work. They have a bottom line, we have a bottom line, and just trying to find that sweet spot or thing that works for both sides.
And the fact we're still talking a year later, there's an opportunity now that we could get in front of the vendors, which is great, and that's really when they can. I mean, we're 5 minutes away from the site, so we've got everything counting for us.
And we had another one, didn't we, where we were looking at a hotel, and we were it was a couple of million, and we wouldn't be able to front that. And the thing, I think, when people are selling hotels like businesses, they're hoping that somebody will come out with 2 million cash and be able to buy that. So from day one, they asked our advice on it, and I'd said, we wouldn't be able to front that, but we could work out a deal. We could do an option agreement. We could do something that works. And they were like, well, we're going to take it to market and we'll see how that goes. 2 years later, we're now in discussions about how that's going to work, because they got messed around, because nobody had the 2 million cash. And I could only sort of say, I think you're going to struggle, but by all means, give it a go and see how you get on. And it's not a told you so. It's like, okay, how do...
Don't go back and say, I told you
it's
so.
It's not a told you so, definitely not. It's like, well, look, I feel for you that you couldn't make that work. Maybe we can. Maybe we can.
We're still interested.
We're still interested.
Let's have a chat.
So, and then that, you're there. So, and also you're helping and advising. It's again, it's that balance, isn't it? You don't want to be too pushy. By putting together a very professional, well presented pack, almost like a pitch deck, isn't it? You do also get a very professional response, I find, rather than a phone call or a quick email. That's what you're going to get back. And it can take time, whereas if it's very professional, people will usually do ring you up, say, look, I've received that, thank you very much, give me a couple of weeks or some time. So just on that point there about the timing and things, don't be too pushy. Let things happen.
It is a long game. Some deals happen really quickly. Some deals take time. Some deals go with other buyers, and they fall down, and then they come back to you. So it's just, you've got to keep doing the legwork day in, day out, and things will fall into place. I mean, it took us 2 years, a year and a half, to start getting traction on some of the deals that we'd been working on.
And then what we had is they all came in quite quick.
All quickly,
and it might have been one that we looked at a year ago, one we looked at 3 months ago, at various times, but they all caught up into sort of one block of 3 months, didn't they? And we were like, bum, 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 came in quite quick.
So it's a different problem.
Then you worry about that later,
But yeah, ultimately everything is about building relationships. Like say, advising for people. It might not be a deal for you right now, but they might like the way you present yourself, and then they might come back to you later on with something else, or at least recommend you to one of their friends or family who've got a plot of land or something like that.
Yeah, and be that sort of professional people can lean on and ask for advice, because build relationships, and even though that deal might not work for you at that point, it might work for you in 2 years' time, or work for the seller in 2 years' time. So nurture that relationship, check in with them every month, just see how they're getting on, and make it come from an angle of you're a professional, just giving a bit of free advice on a networking level, just to see that, are they okay? Hey, how are you doing? How's it going? Can I help you with, do you need any of your sort of team? Do they need any of your team to help them push forward? And I think that goes quite far. I think people are quite grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I do that a lot on the construction side. I'll nurture those relationships and offer, like I say, my build knowledge to people to just to help them take that step forward and build the network, and know that we're here. So if they need advice or help with anything, we're there. We're the professionals to call them.
So negotiation isn't just about winning. It's trying to find a solution that wins for both parties. You want to get, as long as it works for your development and you're making the margins that you need to be able to go raise the finances and get the funding to take it forward, that's the biggest thing. It has to work for that. Yeah.
I have a funny saying as well: a good deal is a bad deal for both.
Yes.
And it's a funny statement to make, but when you think about it, is that you'll never have a deal that is perfect for you. It just won't. It just won't be. You'll have to give something, and so will the seller, the vendor. They'll have to sell. They'll have to give. You both have to give a little, and you both get a bit.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's how a good deal works. So, a good deal is a bad deal for both, but an excellent deal overall. Yeah. That's how it works.
Yeah. So, in summary, the final takeaways from today's episode: the more certainty you bring to a seller, the stronger your position becomes.
Yep.
Negotiation starts with due diligence. Walk the sites, talk to the owners, find out what their pain points are. Have they been messed around previously, and ultimately look at all the risks that the site comes up with, whether that's drainage issues, utility upgrades, all of that sort of stuff. That just becomes your negotiation leverage. How you present your offer and the reasoning why the offer is what it is, so that you've identified everything and the owner can see that you've taken some time to put it all together.
Become a property developer detective.
Yeah, exactly.
It's quite fun though, isn't it? It's quite
fun.
I like the history bit. I like when you go through the history side. So it's not. I think you have to enjoy that bit as well, because if that is the bit you hate, then maybe this isn't for you.
Or find the JV partner or collaborate with someone that does enjoy that. Good sort shout. Of things. Yeah,
because people do, and there are. That's why we work well, because there are certain things we really enjoy, and the other doesn't. So
we were just talking about construction stuff and U values. Like, that's not me. Give me a spreadsheet, and I'm fine.
So it's just making it work, isn't it? Yeah.
Consider the structure, how you're buying it, depending on what the opportunity is. Is it a option agreement? Is it a JV opportunity? Or straight purchase? And work on all these different things, but give that certainty to the vendor that you're able to deliver on what you're offering.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, if you got any value from today's episode, please do like and subscribe. Click the button below, and drop us some comments. If there's any kind of questions or anything like that, we'd love to hear from you, because we'll use that as either in our big question segment or as part of one of the topics for our podcast episode. Yeah,
definitely. Yeah, if you're looking to become a property developer or scale your existing projects, check out Property Developers IQ, built by developers for developers.
Yeah.
You.
And that's it.
And as always, learn, build and scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that.
Till next time, I'm Jonathan Stubbs.
And I'm Kieran Shepherd, not Jonathan Stubbs.
Speak soon.
Bye.